The Jets' perfect season continues. We are 0-13, well on our way to that first overall pick. The Jets lose to the Seattle Seahawks 3-40. Welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Guys, I'll be live tomorrow night, Monday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock for my live call-in show, and then Tuesday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock for our live Talkin' Jets panel. It's going to be me, O'Leary, Green Bean, and special guest Richie from Jets Media, so make sure you tune into that. We'll get all our thoughts and discussions over the Week 14 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. So let's jump right into it. The Seattle Seahawks we go to Seattle, and we get thumped. 3 points was all we were able to score. They dropped 40 on us. They hung 40 on us, and they benched all their starters at the end of the third quarter. Not to mention, a lot of these Seattle players are all former New York Jets guys, from coaching staff all the way on down. You're talking Pete Carroll was our old head coach. Brian Schottenheimer, our old offensive coordinator. Jamal Adams, Jason Myers was our former Pro Bowl kicker. We were having our own kicking woes, and they have their own Pro Bowl kicker that used to be our kicker. Snacks Harrison's over there. He winds up causing a fumble today. Brandon Shell, their right tackle. We actually have their right tackle in George Fant. And then you have Geno Smith, who came in at the end of the third quarter, our old quarterback, almost possibly a franchise quarterback, but it just never worked out with us. And it's just, our Jets, we deserve everything we get at this point. And watching a game like this makes me, really feel comfortable that the Jets are going 0-16. Now, I'm not going to hold it to it because I know as soon as I say that, we're going to wind up screwing it up somehow. But let's jump right into my top 5 takeaways. At number 5, I have Jamal Adams. And I'm just going to get this off my chest right off the bat. When we threw our first completion for a first down, and it was to Chris Herndon right in front of Jamal Adams, it warmed my heart, made me feel good. And I was just like, all right, cool. It's a nice little if it's the only, reception we have all game, at least it was on Jamal and it made me feel good. So there's that. And then, it was kind of a stereotypical Jamal game. He allows the first down, right off the bat. Then he drops an interception, smacks him right in the chest. No reason. One was against Jared Stidham. The other was against, I think, Matt Castle against the Lions. So if you have 2 interceptions and you're dropping that one, this is why we're not paying you $18 million a year or whatever. Then he goes and he's in on it, stop jumping around. And then to top it all off, one thing that got me super agitated, I just wanted Jamal to not get the sack record against us. And it would have happened if it wasn't for Sam Darnold and him just, he runs out of bounds. Sam runs out of bounds 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and gives Jamal a sack. That's the most deflating, that gives me shades of Strahan getting the sack on Favre when Favre laid down to break, the record for sacks in a season. That's how that felt to me. I was really? That's how Jamal's going to get it? At least it's sort of it's not a good sack. It's not like he took Sam's head off and then was just beating his chest. That would make me feel a little bit worse, I guess. At number 4, I've got our safety, the one we took after Jamal Adams, Marcus Maye. He had another one-on-one with him at the front corner of the end zone, and he was able to just snatch the ball right out of the air. And this is a guy I really, really hope we retain. He's a free agent at the end of the season. And there's thought, at least by me, that I hope the Jets extend him. I really do. I think there's going to be a part of Marcus that decides he wants to go back to Florida. I could see him going to play with a defensive-minded head coach in Flores, or going to try and win a ring with Brady in Tampa Bay. He's a Florida guy, so it just sort of makes sense. I hope he comes back. I really do. Fingers crossed. Love me some Marcus Maye. At number 3, we have scored on our opening drive 7 straight games. 7 straight games. That is impressive. Now, it's all the other drives that we have an issue with, because we scored 3 points on our first drive and then not another point. Seattle literally hung 40 points on us, and they benched their starters at the end of the third quarter. We're bad. We are really bad. And Adam Gase, you got to get out of here. I cannot wait till the season is over. This is just making my blood boil week in and week out. Now, why did the Jets not have as many points as they could have in later drives? Well, thank you, Sergio Castillo. He is filling the role of Greg Williams perfectly. Greg Williams gave us a solid last week and got us the loss. Sergio Castillo, even if he makes the 3 field goals that he missed, It's still only 12 points total, so it's not like we had a shot anyway, but he's doing his best to just make us confident that we're going to lose. Seriously, if we're dropping 3 field goals, this is like all season, dating back to last year, we've been absolutely horrible with kickers. You got Vedvik, Ficken, Castillo, all of these guys have been horrible kickers for us, and you just got to hope that Joe Douglas can bring someone in. And over 2 years, he just hasn't been able to. Like, McCagnon letting Jason Myers walk is so absolutely crippling at this point, because we could have had, at least, I don't know, probably 40 more points over the course of the last 2 seasons just on missed field goals and opportunities. Like, I don't know. We need a kicker, and we need one bad. We don't have one on the roster. And at number 1, we have our quarterback, Sam Darnold. And week in and week out, I'm just starting to talk about this more and more. This week, he finishes 14 of 26 for 132 yards and no touchdowns and no interceptions. That is a very, very deceiving number, because it should have been a lot worse. He had 3 interceptions that were just blatant drops. They were all like very, very, very bad throws. And Sam just continues to make these boneheaded decisions. So even though he does not have it on the stat sheet, I am counting those as interceptions in my mind, because that is a bad throw. You don't want your quarterback making those throws. When you're looking at the Jets, and I know people want to trade out of that number 1 overall pick. They want to build around Sam because Trevor Lawrence can't win with this type of system around him or this type of players around him and the supporting cast. That's not what's going to happen. Like, I get that. I understand the thought. If you plug Trevor Lawrence into this team, we're probably better, but it's probably not by a whole lot. Now, when we get Trevor Lawrence or Fields or whoever the quarterback winds up being, you're going to have $80 million in cap space. You're going to have the most draft capital over the course of the next 2 years. Like, the Jets have the firepower to make this work. Not to mention Sam's contract. Sam's contract is going to be so brutal. You have to move on from him purely from that perspective. You can't roll the dice on passing on a generational prospect and then hoping that Sam pulls a rabbit out of his hat. Quarterbacks don't develop this late in their career after regressing this way. Like, I understand Alex Smith had a resurgence in his career, but I just don't see that coming from Sam. He's missing wide open guys. He's not throwing the ball to wide open guys. He's just trigger shy. He's running around. He's hearing ghosts, seeing ghosts, whatever. He's getting everything. It's just it's bad. It is bad. But hey, we're 0-13. We control our own destiny moving into the final 3 games of the season. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It has been a long season, Jet fans. Let me know your top 5 takeaways down below in the comments. As always, go Jets.